Jackson. Did anyone do a background check? Sting and Shaggy hit our stage to talk about their unlikely musical bromance. Plus, find out how everyday stuff from your cell phone to skim milk messes with your complexion. And why when it comes to beauty, dirty skin is in. Let's fire up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Megan McCain. Now, let's get things started.
So, French.
Okay.
French president.
Crowd,
here.
Any day.
Anytime. French President Macron visited the White House yesterday, and the guy who lives there was really für l'amour. The Washington Post caught some of the most insane moments in this whole thing. Take a look. They're fun.
It's only a prediction. Thank you. You're incredible people. They are incredible people. Thank you. Thank you. I like him a lot. We do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that in a piece of dandruff book. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect.
He is perfect.
So the Washington Post put that together, and it's quite amusing with the very hello, we are making some music, no? And so it's kind of interesting, the touchy-feely back and forth.
It felt like a first date.
He should put a couple of d'argent on this dresser. I'll leave some money for him.
Is that what that means?
D'argent
Yeah.
really means money.
I actually, after reading about Macron's politics, he's neither left nor right, but he's pretty moderate, I think, and he's pro-business, and his background is civil servant, becoming a millionaire, and then running for office. I think it's an actual bromance. I actually think they may have things in common,
I don't agree
and they
with
like
that.
each other.
I
You
don't
don't
agree.
believe that?
No.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I have a theory. I have a feeling about Macron. I think he's 40 years old. His wife is 65.
Yes.
Was
Hello?
his high school teacher, middle school teacher?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like
They are French.
Yes. I mean, not that that's 100% means much, but
I think when
it
you're
shows
sleeping
a
with a
certain
14-year-old and
substance
you're a
to a guy.
teacher.
Normally, you don't see a man with a woman that age.
Yeah.
Trump is 71 or 2 now, and he doesn't care about anybody but himself. And Macron is young and cares about the Paris Accords and the Iranian deal.
does.
And I think that he will do anything. He will change the name of Paris to Trumpland if necessary to get this guy to focus on the world.
You think it's
And I
strategy?
think he's doing it for a
But he
reason.
also went in with Syria.
Where are you?
Well, it's notable to point that Macron's poll numbers are actually hitting record lows. His ratings are around 35 to 40%, depending on the poll, which is around Trump's approval ratings.
Right.
He's actually not, if he's as popular as Trump is here in this country. It's just sort of strange for me to see. Please don't judge what's about to come out of my mouth, but when I was a teenager after 9/11, I was one of those people that called them freedom fries instead of French fries, like because France didn't support us in the war in Iraq, and there was a lot of anti-French sentiment. And now we're, hosting everyone, and it's interesting to see such a, and not that that's a bad thing, because I'm pro having a relationship with France at this point, but our politics don't always align, especially globally, and it will be interesting to see where this bromance goes when push comes to shove, especially with things like Syria.
But they went in with the United States in Syria.
Yeah.
And so I think we are seeing an actual alliance that we haven't perhaps seen.
Yeah, and
I'm
if
all for it.
That's different.
we make relationships with lots of people we've not been aligned with. I mean, so that's part of what we do because that helps to create a,
But on the
a better
campaign
place.
trail, Trump was particularly vociferous in his critique of we're not like the French.
Well, but he was the same with
before he
China.
met
Remember, he was China was bad, and then the French are bad. It's like, look, okay, whatever. So
Once he saw that military parade, he felt
he
love.
fell
on
in
the
love.
field day.
That's right.
that.
But you know, not everybody's all over each other. Because the guys may have been all over each other, but First Lady seemed to be feeling, how should I say, less handsy yesterday. And the cameras caught her trying to avoid a little contact. She's like, stop it, Donald. Stop it. I'm not gonna hold your hand.
Those videos, whenever they capture that, for some reason, it just makes me laugh because at this point, you'd think they'd have the conversation. There are always cameras on us. Just pretend I paid you for this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But the idea that we can still find those moments, I'm like, come on.
I know.
Don't you think that hat is like the wall around China? I mean, she's like, don't kiss me. I'll punch you in the face with this hat. The hat.
I loved her clothing, but the hat
She's
reminded
beautiful.
me of Beyonce. I'm telling you that Melania was in formation. She feels a lot like there you go. She feels a lot like Beyonce felt when Jay-Z was stepping out. She was so, let's give it to her. She was so sharp looking yesterday. I mean, that Michael Kors suit, that hat.
She always does.
To me, she's up there with Jackie Kennedy in terms of her clothing now. She's very, very chic.
But why the white?
beautiful.
Why the white? Is it for the
Innocence?
suffragettes or?
No, because white looks good on her.
Yeah.
She's got a great color in her skin. She looks good in white.
You
What
don't
the
think
hell?
it's more of
She
a
did a-
message?
No, not
Her
everything is a
stories are always the most
message.
interesting.
She did a
Darn,
beautiful
let's go
job
for a storyline.
hosting as
Yeah,
well.
she did a
and I think
gorgeous
that
job.
The sad part for me with Melania is she did an incredible job hosting the family during the day when they were planning the tree and then at the dinner. And the only thing we're focusing on is her hand. And it's like, give this woman some credit. That's a hard job. Those days are long. I mean, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
she's
think
probably
she
up at
wants to-
4 in the morning going
You have to have a
midnight.
little fun. You got to have a little
I know.
fun
I
with
just,
it. It
you know,
just,
I've got a soft spot for Melania because I feel bad
well,
for her.
you know, actually,
We do, too.
we actually all
Good.
do. I think most of the because I think most of the women who marry their man don't anticipate that they're going to be taken in a totally different direction than they thought they were going to go. And when you suddenly realize, come on, you know, you try to get it together, but when you have somebody that keeps stepping in poo, it's kind of hard. So I think I'll tip my dreads to her. You know, I tip my dreads to
I
her.
would be more of a fan if she hadn't done the birthday thing.
Right,
You know-
the birthday thing is a bad
Well,
Martin
yeah.
Birther,
A
I
lot
would
of
have
people,
been
listen,
more of a
everybody
fan.
at this table has done something they probably shouldn't have done. But I still love you.
This morning.
You still love us. This is what happens. We're on.
Well, she
We're
also
go-
was being a good wife.
You know, you try to do what you can. I guess if you're married. That's why I'm not married. We'll be right back.
Still ahead, Mommy Meltdown. The viral video of a toddler's tantrum, a mom on the edge, and an emotional confession every parent can relate to. If you're in the white-hot center of the news, this is where you come to voice your view.
Character matters. Truth-telling matters.
Because this is the only place in daytime
This is the interview that meant the most to my wife, so thanks for...
taking on the newsmakers.
What I do for a job doesn't impact my ability to know right from wrong or to tell the truth.
We're the Emmy-nominated View.
I take such pride in the idea that the president watches our show.
sure watches
Watch
the show.
our show.
On ABC. Still ahead, Sting and Shaggy. Plus, find out how dirty skin can clear up all your complexion issues.
Hey, welcome back. So the Senate is delaying hearings. The Senate's delaying hearings on Veteran Affairs nominee Ronnie Jackson after multiple allegations emerged of being drunk on the job when he was a White House physician and that he handed out so many drugs to employees over the years he was nicknamed the Candyman. Now, one would think this would have come out in the initial, background check before nominating him, but why is it just coming out now? I mean, it's kind kind of crazy.
Well, wasn't he drunk the day that he said that Trump is a perfect specimen? He must have been.
I don't know. But it's just, it seems
Well, it's disconcerting for a lot of reasons because he had been the president's doctor for 3 terms, and I don't think any president's doctor should be handing out pills in the way that he's being accused of doing if that is in fact true. The VA, all of us collectively agree, I think it's the one truly bipartisan issue, not just on the show, but in America in general. The VA is the second largest department after the Department of Defense. It employs 377,000 people, and it's obviously taking care of our veterans. I texted with my friend Paul Rykoff this morning, who I text or call and speak to every time something's going on with veterans. He runs Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans for America. They actually did a poll of post 9/11 veterans that said only 29% of veterans support this man and his nomination. And his quote is that it's a, quote, complete mess. Now, Paul knows what he's talking about. Our veterans and the VA deserve so much better than this on so many different levels.
Well, one thing that jumps to me is this administration specifically has been adamant about extreme vetting for refugees or immigrants. But to let someone into their inner sanctum, possible, delicate information, we'll just let them right on in.
Why did he have this job to begin with?
Well, that's the thing, because I'm sure, Trump, fired the previous VA secretary with just a tweet and then nominated this guy. So Trump probably didn't do any background check on him.
But he was with Obama and Bush as a doctor.
So he probably assumed that he was okay. But the thing is, Trump yesterday said this. He says, I know there's an experience problem because lack of experience, but there's an experience problem. The Veterans Administration is very important to me. So I think as a country, we're so used to...
I didn't even understand
that Dr. Jackson doesn't have the appropriate experience to run...
Trump said that?
Yeah,
so
Trump said that yesterday.
The boss now.
But
that's it for him.
But isn't it surprising that our country has become accustomed to someone like Trump, who had no government experience, becoming president, and he's doing the same thing?
May I just point something out?
Yeah.
Rick Perry, who wanted to dismantle the Department of Energy, is now running it. Scott Pruitt, who is a climate change skeptic who's been funded by the fossil fuel industry, is head of the EPA. Ben Carson, a medical doctor, maybe somebody who actually could have done some good in the VA. Where is he? He's in charge of housing and urban development because one time he passed a project. And Jim Bridenstine, who has no background in science whatsoever, is the new head of NASA. So this is not, this is normal.
I will say, up to Sarah's point, during the election, Trump even missed a debate to hold a fundraiser for veterans, and he has attacked veterans and claimed to be the soothsayer of all things, regardless of the fact that he never served. And for him to sort of put this man up to run the VA after, by the way, 200 veterans died in Phoenix at the VA that I went to high school down the street from, and we're still doing nothing. I actually, this is one of, for me, it's one of the worst abominations of the administration. So
crazy.
I need to say this. Senator Jerry Moran, he's a Kansas Republican, met with Ronnie Jackson yesterday, reportedly said that Jackson had denied the allegations against him, including drinking on the job. Asked whether he categorically denied the allegations against him, Jackson reportedly said, I'm looking forward to the hearings so we can sit down and I can explain everything to everyone and answer all the senator's questions. So he's not turning down his nomination. He wants to explain.
Can I say one final thing? This makes it worse, but we all agreed this man wasn't up to it to begin with.
Not
the
qualified.
VA needs the best of the best of the best. Now it just turns out he's got all this
But she just read a list of all the rest of them that are not up to it.
Sadly, the whole country needs the best of the best of the best. And you know what? I don't know. It doesn't matter who you voted for. We all can admit that America should be treated better than we are being treated, I feel. I think it doesn't matter who you vote for. We want America to be treated well, and the American citizens. And it just seems like we're all, the veterans go out and bust their behinds, they fight. Folks go out and fix the country. Immigrants come in and they want to be here and they try to make. So I feel like we could be doing a much better job just for ourselves. So we have to keep an eye on stuff because we have the ability to really sort of stand up and say, okay, enough. This is what we need as Americans.
He can't get confirmed. He can't.
No, he can't. I hope not. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Tennessee mom Sarah Van Sickle is going viral right now after her toddler's meltdown literally made her lose it. Take a look.
We're doing the best we can. And this is me just trying to be real, showing what mom life can be like. Because it's hard, and it's not always easy. And yes, we put up cute pictures of our kids and awesome things, but this is real life. This is mom life.
So, first of all, we want to let you know, you're right, Sarah. This happens to every parent goes through this. And so, do you think that we've glamorized and made people feel, or maybe people's postings make people feel that, you know, babies don't do this? Because, you know, I used to get to the point where I'd say, you need to stop crying. And I think you have to go in the closet and scream and cuss it out, and then come back and say, okay, baby, it's all good. I mean, am I crazy?
Social media has enhanced it because social media is a highlight reel.
Yes.
It doesn't show the moments in between, kind of the real life moments. But when I watched this, I could relate so much because my mom said the other day, she said something about me being a mama. And I was like, oh, Mom, I'm really only 2 years on the job. And she's like, you're still a mama, though. But I felt that was a title you earn because when I look at moms around me, they all seem to know what they're doing.
They don't.
And you just look and you're like, I feel sorry sometimes for my kids. I'm like, you got me, like, I'm trying.
I'm sure
but
you're very good.
I never forget this moment. I was driving from Maryland to New York with Gabriel. Gabriel, my son was about 6 months old. He cried from the minute I strapped him in. 3.5 hours, and when I say cry, shrieking. I kept on pulling over. I was like, maybe he's too warm. Basically, by the time I got to New York, I had stripped him, and he just wouldn't stop crying. I drive up to the place. My mom's inside, and he falls asleep. And my mother comes to the car. She's like, "Ay, mira el chipito." She's doing all this stuff. Totally kind of bypassed me and the way I was looking because I had cried for about 2 hours as well. And I felt like I'm just not worthy.
Yeah.
And
you know what's fascinating?
All
All I hear is this story about these kids being so annoying and crazy. And yet people have more than one. I don't get that. It's like, why do you do it again?
You're clearly having sex on one of their good days.
No one remembers that they don't come. Look, they arrive, they speak no English, they can't walk, you know, they can't move, they can't do anything, and all they want is some attention. So they make noise and they're like, where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? And then they learn it's them and it's like, ah! And you're like, stop! And sometimes it's them just learning. And sometimes it's just them, they're hungry, and sometimes it's just for no reason. But everybody goes through this. You're not alone. Mothers out there, just know, no manuals, there's no book that comes. We're all doing the best we can,
and if
like
you
she
find
said.
one, send it to me.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
The View is sponsored by Easy Spirit. What moves you? Go to EasySpirit.com for your chance to win shoes for a year.
So before we get to the next thing, Sarah and I decided that what you should do if you see a mom who's having just babies flipping out and going up, take a second and maybe go over and say, is there anything I can do to help? Because sometimes I think people feel like, oh my God, they're thinking I'm terrible. And if you just go say, I've been there, or I understand, do you need me to hold the baby? People can take a breath and say, oh, okay, thank God, I just need that minute's break. So yeah.
I might give you the child to take home with you, but other than that, it's great.
So an amazing thing has happened. You know, the documentary, The Problem with Apu, put the controversial Simpsons character in the spotlight because he's basically a racial stereotype. And it seems like the voice actor who plays him, Hank Azaria, may finally be getting the message. Take a look.
We have to listen to South Asian people, Indian people in this country, when they talk about what they feel and how they think about this character and what their American experience of it has been. And as you know, in television terms, listening to voices means inclusion in the writer's room. I'm perfectly willing and happy to step aside or help transition it into something new. I really hope that's what The Simpsons does, and it not only makes sense, but it just feels like the right thing to do to me.
Yeah. So should Apu finally evolve, maybe own several 7-Elevens? Should he get to grow like everybody
It's
else.
cool to see the transition on. I mean, to take the character to a new level.
But you know, the thing about this story is that there are other stereotypes on the show that are not addressed in the same way. For instance, Fat Tony is an Italian stereotype, and he's a suit-wearing gangster. And then there's an Italian chef who does What's the Matter You, one of those. And then there's a groundskeeper, Willie, is a Scottish stereotype, who's a drunken, hot-tempered guy. There's Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel, is a hillbilly stereotype.
Yeah, but it's a different... when Apu is the only stereotype, when it's the only character most Americans have ever really seen represented, which is what everyone has been trying to explain, that when this is the only stereotype, when everyone comes up and does Apu's voice, they don't do different voices, they just do Apu's voice, it's kind of imperative that you be aware that this particular stereotype has never been addressed by anybody, and it's the only character up until quite recently, last 2 years, that anyone has ever seen. So that's what he's talking
maybe
about.
Apu should be a doctor. Many Indians in this country are doctors, so give him something else.
He can
besides-
evolve.
Yeah, so many things. And I mean, I think, too, also, if you're Italian or you're Scottish, you don't necessarily have a hard time being represented on television. Maybe it's a negative stereotype, but Apu is a person of color. And I think even just having the stereotype on this show, Hari came on here, the documentary filmmaker did this, and I actually thought he presented this in a really, really great way, because I really understood what he was saying, that he just wants representation
and positive representation. And I think that's why we've seen Black Panther be so popular. I think that's why we're going to see the Crazy Rich Asian movie coming out that's positive, that's going to be very popular. We need, as people of color, to have more positive images of ourselves on television.
When do we see a positive Italian representation? I'm just going to stick up for the Italians.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see it.
perhaps we need to
Except
see
for me.
more of that.
I am the positive Italian representation.
And we need to see
There's
more
the
of it.
Sopranos,
I just don't think it's
and
the
there's a
same.
Godfather, and that's what people think of Italian
I love the
Americans. Not-
Corleones.
And we'll be right back.
Okay, let's stay. I'm going to stick up.
Morning is coming. Morning is on its way.
Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Wake up, don't you hear what I say? So I'll be rocking to this groove with my sweet reggae. Ain't nobody gonna spoil my mood, yo. Hey, this is Sting, Shaggy, we coming up next. The View, we up.
This week on The View, the hot topics are sizzling.
Let's get it on now.
Oh, yeah. And the doctor is in the house. That's right. Dr. Phil hits the table.
That's a good one, right? Come on.
This week on The View.
That was a welcome.
That is a welcome.
Well,
An amazing welcome.
people know y'all. People are happy. You know, they're happy to see the collaboration, man.
Yeah, magical. You guys had a huge weekend. You performed at Queen Elizabeth's 92nd birthday. Now, I understand, Shaggy, this was your first time meeting the Queen or seeing the Queen in person.
Ah, yes, my first time of all of it. Royal Albert Hall is a prestigious venue. So it was really exciting for me, and I was there, and we had to raise the bar a little bit because they had
You
their.
certainly raised the bar, my friend. I was
Create a little
worried.
ruckus.
I was a little worried when you went out there heading towards the royal box. No, please.
Don't do it.
I was trying to high-five the Queen, man. I was like,
Well, what would you have done if she said, it wasn't me?
Drop the mic for her. Now, Steen, you've met the Queen before, and the last time was kind of a big deal.
She pinned something on me the last time. I was made
You're going to want to
a
explain
commander of the British Empire.
Wow.
And she said to me, "Are you still in the music business?"
Oh my God.
I said, "Barely, ma'am, hanging on by my fingernails." And then she said, "At the rainforest?" "Still burning, ma'am." I was out of there. But,
Short and sweet.
Well, the new record is called 44876 in reference to the country codes of England and Jamaica. So a lot of it is up and breezy, but as I know you always are, there is some finger in the pulse of what's going on in the world today.
Absolutely. It's a very sunny record. It's a great record to dance to. There's a lot of light and hope in it, but we're dealing with some issues that are quite dark and frightening and threatening, like immigration and the Dreamers.
Yeah.
And he's an immigrant, I'm an immigrant, he's a veteran, and we feel we have a right to say something.
Yeah, we want to use
support of the Dreamers.
We want to use this album as a platform for our voices to be heard. Yeah. I mean, I think you know, being a veteran, and it has earned me that right, you know. And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Right?
A Marine, so Semper Fi, and you fought in Desert Storm.
Hoorah.
So you're a veteran, amazing, yes.
Thank you.
How did you decide to join the Marine?
It's adorable.
That's when I was cute.
Yeah, how did you decide to join the Marines?
You know what? I was in Brooklyn at the time doing everything that I shouldn't be doing. And,
Brooklyn
you know,
will do that to you.
Well, it ain't like the Brooklyn now. Now it's kind of gentrified.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm smart enough to know that if someone walks and steps in a hole and break his leg, step over it. And, you know, I just decided to...
So you ended up in Desert Storm?
Yeah, well, I didn't know that. You know, but I learned a lot in the military. I did my growing up there. You know, I think it was, the military was something that prepared me for what I was going to do, which I had no idea, which was music. You know, this is where I get up early in the morning for top morning radio shows, and I, you know, go to radio stations and TV stations straight to the night, do concerts, and come back and start over in the morning. And I do this on different time zones. And we've been working our butts off the whole time, and the military prepared me for that, I think, you know.
That's amazing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for serving.
Yeah.
I always have to say
Thanks
that.
to all our service members, man, absolutely.
You shot the Don't Make Me Wait video in Jamaica.
I did.
And I understand it's a special place, obviously, for you, but for you as well.
I spent a lot of time in Jamaica in the 80s, and it's had a huge influence on my music, obviously. But also, I wrote some of my biggest songs living in the house of Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond books. I sat at his desk, and I wrote Every Breath You Take. So I figure there's something there's something in the air. There's something magical on the island. I can't quite pin it down, but so I was very happy to go back with Shaggy and raise money for the Bustamante Hospital, which is the only children's hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean. And that was my way of saying thank you to the island and its people. So thank you.
And you know Stranger, by the way, to Jamaica.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
You did a movie called How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And she was in my video. She was on my video with me and Janet Jackson.
I forgot that.
Yeah. Tay Diggs and all of that.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
When your resume's so long, you forget something.
But I have to tell you, Sting and I go kind of way back. Sting spent a little time in Berkeley with the band when, what was the album? Oh, gosh. I can't remember. I know. No, it was
too long ago.
I know. But he met my mom, and we fed her. I mean, this is I mean, to me, to see the two of you together is kind of wonderful, because I know you're always trying to make the world better, and it's wonderful to see you saying, yeah, we're all trying to do this, and bringing folks up.
Yeah.
So thank you
this
for
is just
everything.
a feel-good album.
Shaggy, we know you from all your hits, like Bombastic, Obviously It Wasn't Me, Angel, but I understand your speaking voice is different than your singing voice.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Obviously, I was in the military, so I used to run and sing cadence. And because I had a knack for making up funny cadences, so they would call me out to do it. So we'd run 4 miles, whatever.
Like left,
yeah, so I'd be like,
Go and do one.
Like,
Your favorite.
Be like, I don't know, but I've been told I hear Sting wears pantyhose. But we make a little funny. But I didn't know that was voice training, because you're running for 4 miles, 3 miles, whatever it is, and you're singing at the top of your lungs. Love, right, love. You know, it's coming from the gut. And so when I started making records,
That voice emerged.
Yeah, the voice just came out.
Well, you have a voice.
And the fact that you got your leg up like that makes me very...
Also, he's a yoga guy, though.
It's a yogi right here, man.
I was showing off there.
Well, the bromance is kind of clear here. We're already seeing shades of this, and I know it's a joke between even your wives a little bit. We want to find out what you've really learned about each other in a little game called Isn't It Bromantic? And you tell us what you know about each other, okay?
All right, here we go.
What are your favorite lyrics of his to sing along to?
Something about the bathroom floor. I can't quite remember the rest of the line, but it's one of my favorites.
Every breath you take. I think that's just, you know, that's iconic, man.
Who's
great? Yeah.
Who's more of a morning person?
It's definitely me. Definitely me.
Yeah.
Who has the most annoying habits?
We don't have any annoying
We don't have any annoying.
Clearly not married yet. What's the other one's favorite snack?
I would say dessert-wise is vanilla ice cream. It's like it's kind of freakish. Everything's got to have. Shaggy, could we go get some vanilla ice cream?
Of all things, it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, it's wonderful to see this collaboration. The album is wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say thanks to Sting and Shaggy. 44876 is available now. And you know what, y'all? You've been so good. You're going home. You're Thomas Deluxe version of the album. We'll be right back.
Is dirty skin the secret to smoothing wrinkles? Find out.
If this winter did a number on your skin, forget everything you think you should be doing to fix it, because according to the beauty of dirty skin, most of us are doing it all wrong. Can you believe that? Please welcome author and dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe.
Thank you for having me.
I've been asking you tons of questions backstage. I apologize in advance, but this was recently
We've been getting dirty backstage.
This was recently a hot topic that didn't make it onto set, but we were discussing it in the room. Apparently, you do not have to shower every single day, only twice a week. Joy Behar, in particular, was grossed out by this.
Disgusting.
Is that true?
So I ain't giving up my daily shower, and I'm certainly not asking my patients or my readers to give it up. But you know, the point is that America is redefining clean. Because now we realize that clean skin actually has trillions of microscopic bacteria all over it. I know it sounds gross. Clean skin does. It's, you know, we were raised with the germ theory. We were raised, you know, to think that all bacteria, all germs are bad, right? They cause infection. We need to sanitize our environment and sanitize our skin in the name of health. But now all these new studies, like the one you spoke about, are coming out showing that actually the vast majority of bacteria that are on our skin, in our guts, they're not only not hurting us, they're critical when it comes to keeping our skin healthy and youthful.
Look, if you're not going to take a shower every day, get yourself a bidet, okay?
Well, you could wash the essential parts without scrubbing the skin.
Essential parts, I love it. Do the pits, do the groin, call it a day, guys. Throw out the buff puff, throw out the loofah, the antibacterial soap, anything that leaves your skin feeling squeaky clean, it's killing off all your good bugs.
Okay, well, someone at this table, I don't want to mention names, but her initials are Sunny Hostin, wears makeup to bed sometimes. Is that allowed? Let her have the floor, Sunny.
Well, I want to look, you know, a certain way, so I just put a little under eye, sometimes a little dusting of a powder.
She used to get back out of bed to wash off.
It's true. So I've got two Bowe Glow rules when it comes to makeup. Never go to sleep with makeup.
Never?
And never share your makeup.
Oh, yeah, never share.
That's a biggie.
We don't share.
Never share.
Well, that's that story then about a woman who sued a beauty store, I won't say the name of it, because she got herpes from using one of those lipsticks, those sample lipsticks.
She sure did.
That's a true story?
Yes. Now, I don't think she has a lawsuit, because any moron knows you take the lipstick and you do this with the tissue. Well, she didn't know that, so I don't think the store should be liable for that.
I don't even
What
do this with the tissue. I don't play in that sandbox.
You don't
But
do
if you
that.
want the
No,
tissue's
I've
not
seen
good enough?
infections.
No.
Even the tissue, quite honestly, it's just not even worth
Maybe
the
alcohol?
risk. I've seen pink eye, styes, cold sores, ulcers.
Well, the eyes, yeah.
E. coli grows in lipstick samples. That's in
my
fecal
gosh!
material. That's like taking
Fecal?
somebody's poop and just putting it on your face. It's, you know what? Don't bother.
God.
Don't bother with
That
the,
brown
with
doesn't
the
work on
makeup
anyone.
testers.
I had no idea.
That's so gross.
Okay.
Well, you're not someone I mean, I've been in stores where they just basically wipe the top off of the lipstick, and that
Yeah,
seems
if you,
okay.
If you need to try, if you're compelled, Joy, to try it, just
Yeah.
buy it. You can wipe it,
Well-
and use a Q-tip too, because if you're using it, then you're handing your germs. Although your germs are beautiful and wonderful, but you are handing them off to the next person.
Well, everyone needs to get this book. It is fascinating. I read it. Please go out and get it. Thanks to Dr. Whitney Bowe. Her new book, The Beauty of Dirty Skin, is available right now. Members of our studio audience are going home with a copy, and you can get